Okay, then let's begin today's workshop. In the previous one, we had gone through some CSS properties that involve like transition and animations, uh, and also we went with media queries as well, like a small introduction to responsive designing. Then we had worked on styling the navbar of our clone, and that navbar we did in the last part, and then we started structuring our music player head. But we have to, in today's workshop, we'll be styling that music player head, and we're also making the main body part of the clone. Are there any doubts with the previous workshop? With anything related to code that we did?
No,
Okay, all right. So, uh, if you remember last time, let's just go to the this is a file. I opened VS Code. Right. So we had styled our music player head over here. We For that we just quickly see how we had styled it. Right. So you remember the wireframing process. This is the music player head. We split the music player head into three parts. One is like the information about the artist. One is like the music controls and other call to action buttons. And within that we simplified into further two other boxes. One is like the controls for the music and the music timeline over there. So that is what we did over here. So in the code you can see like a whole container for the music player. Then within that we have the information about like the box about the artist, and then the music controls over here, which we split into two parts. One is the controls here, and the other one is the timeline, and finally the other call to actions button in another container over here. Today we'll start styling it. Okay? So when it start live server over here, right? So we'll use this one as reference over here. Okay. First thing is you when you see if you keep scrolling down anywhere, you can see that the music player head is fixed towards the bottom. So we'll go ahead and we'll put that in our CSS over here. Right. Comment saying that now the following styles are for the music player head. So first we'll target the whole container. We'll keep it at a position fixed, and the bottom should be 0. To take up the whole width of the screen and the height of 100 pixels, right? Uh, if you can see over here, we make three containers, right? How do you think we will place them in one single row? Do you know which property we will use over here?
Flexbox.
Flexbox, exactly. So we put a X and we'll put specify content space between and let them center to bring them uh, place them center of the main axis. And over here you can the main it has like a bit of a background over here, so we'll apply that background color as well. The background color for this is like 181818. As mentioned, how you can get this is through the Colorzilla extension over here. You can just click on it and then hover over any part and you'll get the color code in the top left corner over there, right? And like all the text is initially white, we can make them into a light color later. So we just put a white color for the text alone. And you can see it's already starting to look a little bit like our player did right now. The icons, right? Over here, they are a bit of a grayish color, not white. So we'll target the icons alone over here. So all the icons within the player head to have a like a color. Use the RGB property over here. It's like a grayish color, so you can just put like this value, right? And the colors changed. And in the clone, when you hover over these icons, that time they become white in color. The text becomes white. So using the pseudo class, we'll target the within the player icon tags within the player container, and when they are hovered, we'll change the color to white again. And now this is so far done. There's a problem with the image. Just right. I haven't downloaded the image. Mhm. Have you downloaded the images that have specified in the WhatsApp group?
Yeah, yeah.
Alright, so now the image is showing up. We'll get to styling that in a while. Alright, next is the artist's information over here. We want the image and the artist information to stay side by side in a single row. So again, we'll use the display flex property over here. We'll target the artist container. Now they are side by side. Then now we'll set a width for the image. We'll give like a width of maybe 60 pixels over here and a height auto. Now you can see that they are very close to each other, so we'll give them some margin between each of those. We'll use the Descendant Selector and the direct style of all the player artists container over here will have a margin of 10 pixels. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Right. Next, the anchor tags that we used in here. Uh, this again. Yeah. Okay. Since this can you can take it as a div itself. In the original one, you can see that they're getting underlined when we hover over them. That same thing you can apply using the by targeting that specific div. So it is within the artist's details container, and we have only two divs, so we can target them individually. The div and when they are covered, we want them to be underlined. Okay, so text decoration. Right, so you can see they are coming underlined right now. After that, these two icons, that the heart and the open a new tab, that one will give like a we'll give the div over here, the same div, and uh, display inline, so that they appear side by side and it doesn't push to the right. But for now, the main artist part is complete over here. You can see like the same image, uh, the heart icon and the screen. This one are over the side. Or if this is each of this, what else you can do? You can just give it like an anchor tag for this one over here. It will be more convenient. And then instead of targeting the divs, you target the anchor tags. Just I think these two can be put in one single container. Okay, let's not worry much about this, but the basic styling for the artist container is more or less like this. Let's move on to the controls over here. As the idea of clear controls. Let's create a display flex again. Which acting as column. Center. Align item center as well. Click on everything to the center of that box over here. Uh, Specifically for the controls alone, we'll give them a bit of spacing. All these icons within the controls will give it a spacing of between them. So margin top, we don't need any spacing, but we need like a spacing with left and right, so 10 pixels. So here. And now you can see the side by side. Right. Hey Raghu, uh, hello Raghu.
Hey Kunal.
Uh, right, okay. Are you clear with last week's code?
Yes, Kunal.
Right. We didn't start much. So far, what we did was we just uh, discussed the music player head structure over here. If you remember, we did this in the last workshop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now what I did so far is I showed them wireframing process again. The music player head is basically split into three parts. That is the player artist container on the left. In the center we have the controls, and on the right we have the call to action buttons. What I did was, for the whole player I gave a display flex to bring everything in one row, and a justify content space between, to place them, to put big space between all three of these mini containers. Is that clear? Did you get an idea like what we did so
Yeah,
far?
yeah,
Right. Uh, Next is just some basic styling, like for the small icons over here, just a color, a gray color, and then when they are hovered, their color changes. Then we started styling the artist information on the left. We gave a display flex, and to bring them towards the center in one row, and to bring it towards the center, we just gave a align item center. Then a margin to add space between each of these elements, and in this image we put like a set width and height, and then other styling that includes like when they are, the name is hovered, it should get underlined. uh, so that is what we did for the artist player part. Next, and just now we started with the player controls. That involves the this center container that where all the player controls are there. So we gave like a display flex, and to bring all the icons towards the center, we use justify content center and align item center. Is that clear?
clear, clear, Kunal.
Right. So now for these controls over here, since they were very close together, we gave them a margin left and right of 10 pixels. Uh, then this HR that we see over here, for that, that is within container called timeline. So we'll just put display flex for that as well. And give some space. It's too much towards the strain towards the controls, right? So we just give a margin of 10 pixels. Then next, that line, that music player line, right? So we'll target that one, and we give it the width of 1 to 3 pixels, right? And a margin of top, we don't need any margin, only on the right and left to push the uh, time song limit, so that doesn't look like it's ticking. So 5 pixels should do it, right? So we are done with the music player controls. Now the other call to actions button only. Before that, any doubts of how we did the player controls?
No.
No,
Any doubts
Kunal.
like how we, no doubts, right? Okay. The next is the call to action buttons over here. In the original one, they appear side by side in a single row. So again, we'll use display flex over here. So if you remember, we gave an ID, gave a call to action. CT is nothing but call to action. So display flex over here, align items center to get them in the main axis, center of the main axis. Now you see they are all in one single row, but they are very close to each other. So to tackle that, we'll just target all the icons, all the elements within that container, and give them a margin of left and right of 10 pixels. And finally, the speaker volume line in the end, that also will give like a width of 50 pixels because comparatively smaller over here. So now if you see, right, with this we are like done with the music player head. Yes, Raghu.
I have a doubt.
Yeah, tell
Before
me.
the code,
Sorry.
Will you show the code? VS Code.
Right.
Why are you using player call to action greater than star?
Yeah, the greater than star basically means greater than in general means uh, it's called a descendant selector. That means and the star means all. So what does this basically mean is select all elements that is a direct child of the player container. So if I show you in the HTML over here, this is the player CTA container, right? Over
Yes.
here. Yeah, and all means all of this direct child over here. Suppose now if I put like a simple div over here, and in the div say I have 5 paragraph tags. At this selector, it will not select those 5 paragraphs there. This greater than means anything that is a direct child. So this icon, all the icons here are a direct child of this player CTA. But these paragraphs are like grandchildren elements of this player CTA. If I wanted to select those, I'll just remove this greater than symbol. Is that
Clear,
clear?
Kunal. Thank
Right. With this, we are done with the styling for the music player controls. Now, all that is left is the main player body section over here. You can see it's we don't need all these photos. In the Google Drive, I've sent a few photos over here. If you downloaded them in a separate folder called content within the images, you can start using them. Have you downloaded them?
Yes.
Right. Rahul, have you
you. Yeah.
downloaded these images? Right. Okay. Uh, then let's get to the wireframing process again. So in the body content, we had two things: the navbar and the main content over here. We are done with the navbar. Now we'll move on with the content. So the content in itself is a whole container over here. With this one, can anyone tell me what are the other small components you see within this big container? Any idea?
Upper part and the lower part.
Yeah, that's right. So this is one whole container over here, and this is also another one. You can see the styling for both differs, so we can consider them as separate components. Then within the each, like the upper component, the lower, we have two other things. That is, one is for the heading over here, and the other one is for the bottom. The basically you could say like the music cards or something like that, right? The same thing, same applies for the bottom one also. So there's like one for the title over here, and there's another one for the music cards again. So these two cards have different styling, so we'll approach them differently. So this like the same card has two different styling. Here also you can split them into two parts. So one is the whole container. This one is also one whole container. These are the music cards within the top and bottom part of the content area. So now within that we have two two other small parts. That is the pretty simple, right? So the image itself and the name of the music or the show, whatever it is. The same for the bottom one also, the image, and for the artist details. If you want to simplify it further, all we have to do is break this down another. So we have the artist name, I mean the show name or the song name, and again we have like the artist name. Is this clear? Like how we are going to approach the styling for the content area,
Yeah.
right? Okay. Then let's start it. We'll keep this for reference. We'll go back to index.html and we'll go to our content area. So this was the content, the div with an ID content. You just come down, the comment that you're styling the content zone. Okay, right. Let's try that. So we can just give it like a call it. You can use the main tag because this is the main part of the website, and you can give it like an ID of. Since we have already used content, you can just use main again. In that we have a container for the whole card section, right? So you can just give it like an I class of card container, and within that we have two parts. That was the title of that container section. So you can give it a class card like title, and within that we have two. This on the title like here. Oh, here is good morning. At the bottom it's your shows, and on the right side is like see all. So to separate that, we are putting them in a single container, and we just give a h1 card heading, and we just click pull up, and paragraph tag uh, that see all. Okay. After the card title, next we have the actual card, right? So all those cards are within another container, so you can put them like something like card collection, and within that we have the cards. So you can see that this top section has different styling for a card, and the bottom section has different card styling. So for the top one alone, we'll just give like a different class called uh, card card top, and within that you have the image and the artist and the song information. And some songs have that blue dot where it's like you're currently listening or like there's a new episode from them. So it has in basic three parts: the image, the artist information, and the blue dot. So what you can do is you can just give it an image over here. It's like, now we can just go to images. We can go inside our contents folder and target anyone for you, right? And then we have the artist info or basically the information about the card. You can just put card info over here. And then that two paragraphs. Like one is for the name of the show or the song and the artist. So you can give like a paragraph tag with the card name. In our case, it's Finch also over here. Another one is basically like the artist. So again, card artist, the class card artist. Next, we have that that blue dot kind of icon. You can get them from font awesome as usual. So just a dot or a circle with this exact one, and just copy and paste this. You can see it has come over here. We'll style it later. Uh, any doubts on how we are approaching card, the cards over here, the music cards?
No,
No.
Kunal.
No. Okay. Uh, just we'll do one more one. Kaya, I'll give an example. So, like The second card again you can repeat it with the class card top. And that we have three parts. That is the image. The next is the like the artist information. So it has like it's the information about the artist. So we have them in a separate container called card info, and that we have the name of the show or the song and the artist in another P container. And then it is not necessary you have to put the circle in all of them. It's just to show that that particular show has a new episode or some new album has come up. Okay. So here again you can we'll go inside our images folder, and in that we'll just take any random. So now basically this card top repeats itself over and over again. You can just copy paste it like 6 or 7 times. Right, let's just paste it 2 more times. So with this we are done with the top section. Let's move on to styling the the this top section that holds all the cards. Uh, Go to our style and put a comment content style. Okay, let's start with the main part. We need some padding. So it's too much on the side. So we give like a padding of 80 pixels, and then all the text we'll have is like a white color. Okay. Next, within the card container, each card container also will have some padding. If you can take this over here. And card title. That one will put a display flex to get them in a single row. Flex, maybe align item center to limit them along the main axis, and justify content space fill. Okay. Next, all the images, right? Images we have to print them out. But before that, you can see the whole here the actual font, the text color of these clear information. Some are white, but and the artists are like in a grayish color. So we'll target those, or you could say even the see all over here. It is not exactly in a. Uh, it's a bit grayish color. So the same thing we can put it over here. So we'll target the paragraph tag, and then put like a color of gray. Not like spelling. And when it's hovered, that time it should become underlined, and the color should change to whiter. So, so this the Card title part styling is done. Next, we can style the card collection. You can see over here they're all side by side, and in the actual web page also, if you make them smaller, you can see they are wrapping on side of each other over here. Either so we'll use the same styling over our website as well. So we kept all the cards within a container called card collection, and we'll to have them wrap against each other. We can use it using the flex property. So we can put flex wrap as wrap. Line space around in this case. Okay. Next is the actual music cards. We gave them a class of card top. So in the that also all of them come in a single row. That is the image, the artist details, and that dot in some cases. So to bring them in a single row again, we put display flex, line items. Now tone it has like a border radius over here, like the border is kind of curved. So again, we put border radius of 10 pixels, and width of 300 pixels, and give it like a different background so it stands out. Or in this case, it is a background color called with the hex code for this background color is 5759 577. And make it a bit transparent. I'll put this in the chat box. This is the background color for those individual cards in our case. With, height. So what was the height of the image and the text over there? That this container should take that height. Okay. Next, we'll make the image will like, limit the size of the image. Just have to go to cut off, select the image tag, and give the width of 75 pixels and a height of 75 pixels, and then a border radius. Like the right side there's a border, but because of the image, there is no border. So for the image, you can give the border only on the top left and the bottom left by targeting them specifically. So you can just do like a 10 pixels, 0, 0, 10 pixels. What this basically means is give a border radius for the top left, top left side, top right side, bottom right, and bottom left. So this is the order the border radius property takes in for the width that we specified. So we have specified only for the top left and the bottom left to 10 pixels, 0, 0, 10 pixels. Right? Like I say that they're all very close to each other, so we don't want that happening. What we can do is just give them a margin 15 pixels, top right, bottom left, like this. And for some extra styling, you can just put of hover. When they hover, you can change the background color. The same thing, but I'm increasing back the transparency to full when they hover, and they can become a little bit big. So we use the transform property and scale it to like 1.05 times. You can see it's working over here, but it's too sudden, right? So we'll use the transition property that we learned, and we'll specify which property to apply the transform to, and we'll specify the time duration. So you can see now it happens slowly and goes back slowly as well. Now within the card itself, they're all quite close to each other. What you can do is just put card top, select all the elements that are direct child for the card top, and give a margin height of 10 pixels. Now this circle isn't exactly white in color in the actual website. So a top and plus circle below here, just as the full one. So it has a glass circle, that's icon, and you can give it like a color of blue. And since you don't want it sticking towards the, it's towards the extreme right, so you can just put a margin left auto to push it towards the right. Yeah, is everybody clear with this so far what we did? If I make this full screen, you can see they start coming in once. They, it becomes responsive by itself using the
No.
flex property. Any doubt so far with how we did
No.
this? Okay. Uh, okay. So now the next one is the bottom card collection. That these cards are a bit different from the top. So this type of cards we'll be working on. So it more or less has the same styling. Only some minor changes will be applied. Okay, so we'll go into our index.html. This was a card container. We'll create another card container. And within this, we have the same card title. And within the card title, we'll have the same with the heading and that see all tag over here. So card title, within the card we have the H1 card heading or your songs maybe. Paragraph tag XC. Yeah. Let me show you one difference, right? So in this, all of these wrap when they when the screen becomes small, whereas in this case they come side of one another, right? So to do that, we'll put display flex, but there'll not be any wrap. We'll keep like a scroll on the side. Uh, so let's see how we can do that. So we'll give, initially we had given a card collection. So it's a different type of collection. So we'll call it a card uh, collection main or something like that. And before we were styling for these cards over here, so we called it like card card top. So we called it card top in this case. In the second case, these cards we'll simply call them normal card over here because these are common throughout the page. They have the same styling. So we'll call it card, just a card, div card, and within that we have the image, the images, and then we have the artist info as usual. So card info. That we have the name of the song, so card name and the name of the song and the artist. Okay. This is that that this is all for the this card over here. Simple and straightforward. So now the same thing can be repeated for others as well. To repeat it, there's a content of div card. In that card we have one image. You can get it from the content folder, and you can just copy paste the information about what the song or who the artist is. Now all you have to do is just copy paste this part. Let's see how it came out. You can see it's there in the bottom, but there's no scroll over here. That's because for our content section, we had given a position fixed. So all you have to do is go to your style, and search the content part over here. All you have to give like a overflow by of scroll. Now you can see you can scroll and see within the that specific content section while others stay in their own location. Even in the clone, the nav bar is fixed. So what you can do is for the nav, you can give a position fixed, top 0 and right 0. Specify width of 100%. I mean, not 100. Give it the same as the navbar takes 80% of the screen because the sidebar takes 20% over here. Next thing you see that the cards and the navbar come on top of one another. So you can just give a margin top for the whole content section. Margin top over 50 pixels maybe. Yeah, that brought it towards the bottom. Okay. Any doubts so far?
No, Kunal.
Like,
No.
oh, okay, so now we'll work on styling these cards over here. So just go to a style, and while these are all same, we just have to change one or two things. Okay. So first we'll select the different card collection over here. We want all the songs to be in one go, so we do flex. Uh, and we had given it a card collection name. Right, so now we are in one single flow. So and then we give it an overflow in the x direction as flow. So now you can see they are scrolling on the side like this. Now this we'll adjust the size of those cards. So let's put uh, card over here and give like a border maybe for 10 pixels and 10 pixels. Background color. I do want to. So it's kind of a grayish black background. I'll share this. This is the color for the car, individual, the second type of card. And we wanted to have some spacing, so we give a margin of. Then the this images are too big, so what we can do is this give a card and we take these images and use the width of 100 pixels, and these images also have a border radius of 10 pixels. Okay. After this, you see the scroll bar, right? The scroll bar is very different from the one that we are having currently. So the scroll bar that Chrome offers that is this one by default, but we have option to style that as well. So all you have to do is we gave this scroll bar applies for the whole content area. So come back to where we had styled the content. What you have to do is target the content, and like how we use the pseudo class properties. Also, you can use something called WebKit as toolbar over here, and you can give it. You can reduce its width by simply doing like this is also width of 10 pixels, and you can even change the background color of the scroll bar also. So content and target the scroll bar, and we are only the thumb part. So background color we give white. Okay, so you can see it come over here. We can make it a bit more transparent, and yeah, so now it looks more like the original one. So this is what it looks like so far. Uh, or you, we just copy paste what we did over here. Right? So the same scroll bar comes on the side of this. To it looks a bit weird, so we can just eliminate that one with the same concept. So for the card collection name, the scroll bar for this be hidden. So, yeah, the scroll bar should be hidden, but the scroll property should be active. So you can see we can scroll on the side of this, right? And like the card on the top, it changes. The same thing for this card also. When we are hovering on top of it, it should have a like it should scale and the background should become a bit more big. So for that again, this card and it's our form scale it by 1.05 background color. So I just add, but make it fully opaque in our case. And since it happens too immediately, you can just put like a transition and select the scale property, sorry, the transform property, and the duration of the transform. And yeah, with this, we are more or less done with the Spotify clone. Any doubts, guys?
No.
Okay.
And I was like, what about you, Raghu? Like the styling, anything.
All about select.
Uh, all right, so just a second. Like, so you're all here with how we approach the structuring of the website. Like, first, how instead of directly getting into the coding, we always try to break down the website over here. Then after this volley, we start styling and structuring it in the HTML. Then, based on how we broke it down over here, we start styling it in the CSS part. So with this, we are done with the Spotify clone. So, uh, you guys should be proud of yourself, like coming for like this is the sixth week, I think. So great
Thank you.
job, guys. I'll and in the next session, we'll start with JavaScript, right? So we are done with styling and structuring our web clone. Next thing, we'll add a functionality. So we see, we click these buttons and these icons, nothing happens over there. So using JavaScript, we can add functionality to our clone, and this we'll see how to do in our next
What
session.
about response, Kunal?
Yeah, responsiveness. I told you, right. So you can we have given a display flex over here, right? So when you make them small, just a second. Yeah. So this you see, right? These card titles we had given a display flex, so they start wrapping on top of one another, and you can see they are too big. All you have to do is come in the bottom and use the media query that we had learned last time, and you can specify till what width. So for mobile width, it's usually like around 600 pixels, like this. So you can just target the say the cards, right? So you want to make the card small. So the card top and the card, the card alone. So you want to make it small. Let's say by maybe small, small scale. So now if I make it small below 600 pixels, you can see these cards are also getting small, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I want you guys to take it up as a task. Trying and make it responsive using the
Okay.
media queries. Can you try that and
Yeah.
let me know
Yeah.
if it's working? You can either make these cards small, or you can make the sidebar disappear when it's becomes below the phone width. So you can just put the same thing. We had given the ID sidebar, right? So sidebar and this a none here. So if you go below 600, just disappears. Right. So in the phone, you don't really need a sidebar. So you can try this out and let me. You can take this up as a task for yourself, making your clone responsive using the media queries.
Okay. Cool.
All right, guys. If you don't have any doubts, then I'll see you in the next session.
Yeah.
We'll start with JavaScript.
Yes, guys. Before ending the session for today, I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Harshit. I am also from the Think Digital team. So I just wanted to know from you guys, Shrimay and Rahul, that how are you finding the sessions? Like, how many sessions have you guys attended in total till now?
Six.
No.
So you attended all of them, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So how did you feel about the sessions? Like, what could have been improved according to you? Any
Instead
of
of
you guys?
learning theory, we are making project so we can understand easily.
Okay, okay, sure. So that's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. Also, was this your first experience with HTML and CSS, or like have you guys already have had some experience with that?
No,
Had some experience.
I'm a beginner.
Okay. Okay. So, Shrima, you have had previous experience. So, have you made any projects or something of the sort?
Yeah. I
Like,
made
can
a Zomato clone.
okay, got it. So, okay, so you have made a Zomato clone, right? So,
Yeah.
and what about the backend? Have you any idea about how the backend works?
Yeah, a bit. I know about Django back.
Okay.
I know about Node.js.
You know about Node.js regular, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys are from which colleges? If you can tell me that.
NIT Durgapur.
And what about you, Raghu?
SRM, Ramabura.
SRM Ramapuram. Okay. So, one thing I wanted to know from you guys, the purpose of this, like you are attending these sessions, right? So, was the purpose of this attending these sessions just to get the knowledge from the sessions, or do you also want to be a part of the team at Think Digital?
I want to be a part of the team.
Yeah, I want to be part of team.
Okay, sure. Okay. Yeah, so I just wanted to know that from you guys. Yeah. Any other things that you have to ask about the team or the sessions or how stuff works in the team? You can ask me or Kunal or any of the admins of the groups that right now also or at a later point also. If you have any doubts, you can let us know about that. Yeah. So I guess that's it from my side. If you guys have any questions, then sure you can ask me right now, or uh, we can end the session also in that case. Yeah.
After joining the team, can we get guidance about other domains too? Like I am interested in IoT too.
Yeah, sure. So after joining the domain, would you prefer to be in the web domain, or would you prefer to be
Web
in the
domain.
Achha, as a preference you want web domain, but you also are interested in IoT, right? So
Yeah.
what we could do is that like after being in the web domain, you can also be part of the IoT group and you can attend the sessions that they conduct as well. So that
Okay.
will help you out with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about cloud computing? It-
Cloud computing as such, we do not have a domain for that. Cloud computing basically means that we have like whatever sites we host, they are hosted on a cloud, right? Basically clouds are servers. For example, we have servers in like Amazon has servers in Bangalore and I think Mumbai, I guess. Some companies have
Chennai.
servers in Mumbai and some, yeah, Chennai also, I think. I'm not sure, but yeah. So in cloud computing, basically, if you mean that how to host a site on a cloud, uh, you can learn that from the team. But as such, we do not have a domain for cloud computing. But of course, we have to host sites on the cloud. We host our team website on the cloud. I think we host it on Amazon Web Services. So you'll be given an idea about that when the time comes for you to host these websites on a live platform.
Okay. I'm currently preparing for AWS examination.
Okay.
So I want some guidance. So that only I asked.
So AWS examination, how are you preparing for it?
In YouTube, currently I'm doing Azure AZ900 exam last 2 weeks.
Uh, you are in which year, Raghu?
Second year.
You're in second year and you are preparing for cloud computing, right? So
Yeah.
I think for that you can ask guidance from us, but I don't think we have as such cloud professionals in the team. For that, you'll have to take help from YouTube only, but we'll be able to guide you if you want. But as such, we do not have a proper way, a proper structure to train you to be a cloud professional.
Yeah, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, yes, Raghu.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, Kunal, if you have anything add or say, you can. Otherwise, we can end the session.
Uh, no, nothing right now. We can. end the session, and we can, uh, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining in.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Ravi.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Kunal.
Thank you, Sri.
Yeah,
Just
Kunal.
give a second.
Nice session.